Episode 5. I'm Raj Kumar, and Uncut is the show that brings you closer to our Team Singapore athletes and coaches. Now, with less than 1 week to the Southeast Asian Games, we speak to our athletes from gymnastics and squash. So in this first segment, we are delighted to have our squash players in Samuel Kang, Sherilyn Yeong, and Yeong, Yhann. Hey guys, welcome to SG Sports Uncut, Episode 5. Samuel, let's get this segment about squash started, but before we actually talk about the sport, let's give the fans a chance to sort of get to know all three of you better. Samuel, you're a football fan, a fan of Liverpool Football Club. So 12 games into the current season, 11 wins. I say 12 games because this show is actually being taped on Wednesday, November 20th, due to the availability of the athletes as they are preparing for the SEA Games. So 12 games and a 9-point lead over Manchester City. Your take on the Reds?
I think it's a fantastic start. I mean, some of the games have been very nerve-wracking, but it's great. I think Klopp has implemented a great system. They're all mentality monsters. And yeah, hopefully we can keep the winning streak going and extend the lead.
Nice. That's a new one, mentality monsters. Okay. Now, but what did you think of the 3-1 victory over City at Anfield? I mean, just before the international break, 3-1.
Yeah, it's an awesome result. I think all the goals were great too. I mean, I think the second goal especially, where both the Trent and Andrew Robertson were involved.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic. So yeah, huge win for us, and hopefully can carry that momentum on.
Exactly.
And, yeah.
Right till after Christmas and
all the way till the end.
All the way till the end, yeah. Because we remember last season.
Agonizingly close, yeah.
I think just like Samuel, most of you who know me know that I'm a fan of the Reds as well. And last season we let a 12-point margin slip and lost the title in the end. Okay, but who's your current favourite in the Reds lineup and why?
I think Sadio Mane, because he's just so hardworking and so disciplined and seems like such a simple, humble guy. And yeah, he's done so much for the team with some crucial penalties that he's won and goals that he's scored. So yeah, he's a great player to watch.
Okay, outstanding. Sherilyn Yeong, we come to you next. And is there a favourite club or a sport that you support in the international arena?
Okay, to be fair, I don't really watch that many sports, but if I had to pick one, it would be MMA.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Why?
I've been to Singapore Indoor Stadium quite a couple of times to watch the One Championship stuff, and I think it's super exciting. I mean, I joined Evolve this year and I tried it for myself. I went for classes, Muay Thai classes and BJJ classes. And I realized I'll stick to watching it because I do like fighting and beating people up. I don't really like it when they come at me, so I'll just stick to watching it. Yeah.
Is there a specific athlete that you watch out for?
I mean, if Angela Lee is on, I usually will go and watch because I know she's Canadian, but she kind of represents us.
Yeah, and she's on a roll. Still unbeaten. 11 months, almost done. In 2019, which was your favorite travel destination this year for you and why? I assume that at least you traveled a bit.
To be fair, I didn't really get a chance to travel this year because I just started working at Deloitte in January, so I was on probation for 6 months, so I couldn't take leave. But I went to Hong Kong for a week for a while, and then
that was when?
Before all the riots.
Before that,
yeah. And I went to Pattaya and KL for training trips, but I wouldn't say it's very fun or anything.
Right.
So right now I have to pick, it'll be between Tanjong Pagar, Downtown Line and Stadium MRT.
Okay.
It's my favorite travel destination because it's the only place I've been to this year.
Okay, that's an interesting one. We'll come back to you in a minute. Yeong, Yhann, which was the last movie that you caught in 2019. Are you a movie buff?
Sorry, I'm not really a movie person actually, but the last movie I watched was actually The End Game in June. I think that was during my school holidays, so that's the only free time I had to watch movies.
Were you tearing at the end of The End Game?
Well, actually I watched it quite late, so there was quite a lot of spoilers already from my friends, and I was also doing a part of my IB presentation. It was part of the movie, so it kind of spoiled it.
A presentation?
We had a theory of knowledge presentation, and we used it as one of our examples.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. You were graded on it?
Yeah, but we have no idea what's our grade, so hopefully.
So
start.
So who's your favorite superhero?
Who's my favorite superhero? I think the actually I don't really have.
You
No,
don't
I'm
have
not
single-
really a superhero person. I kind of like more real crime movies actually.
And
I
I
like
underst-
crime.
Okay, so I understand that
stuff.
you're into Netflix.
Yeah, I like Money Heist and Sherlock, where like it's kind of like really mind blowing.
Mm.
Yeah, pretty interesting. So it gets you like thinking like, how on earth do the directors even like come up with this kind of stuff?
So you're not gonna attempt to even watch the new Charlie's Angels? No.
Not really. I don't know. I heard from my coach that it wasn't so good.
Right.
Like yeah.
Okay.
so,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, now that we've sort of caught up to speed on your personal lives, Samuel, let's talk about the sport. How would you describe the year that you've had in terms of your squash career? I mean, has it been all up and up or 60-40 in terms of winning?
I think generally it's been quite positive. I started a new role at work this year, so had to adjust my training a little bit, but it's been good. I started playing on the professional circuit part-time, so traveling to some countries for tournaments and getting the exposure. So in that sense, it's been very good, and my ranking has gone up as well. So very happy about that, and hopefully next year I can continue to do the same.
Nice. Which would you say was your lowest point in the sport for you this season?
No real low points actually. I think if there was one, is possibly the cancellation of the doubles events in the SEA Games.
Yeah.
Just because I think we're all disappointed. We're all really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, apart from that, I think generally it's been quite a positive year.
Yeah. We'll come to that issue in a minute. Which has been the biggest highlight for you this year? Would you say maybe 1-2 weeks ago at a certain our Tampines hub?
Yeah,
a
definitely.
certain ceremony.
I think that was fantastic. I think getting the call was very surprised. I think initially when our manager Benson called me and he said, they want you to be the flag bearer. I asked him like, you mean for squash?
Yeah.
And I thought it was just like a squash thing, but yeah, when it's for the whole contingent, that was really awesome. And I think it's special not just for me but for squash to get that recognition as well.
Yeah. So imagine, 666 athletes, the biggest away contingent ever for Team Singapore. The three of you are going to be at the stadium, the main stadium for, I believe, the opening ceremony. You will be ahead with the flag. So how you gonna practice for that? Because it's not going to be just 1 minute. I think it'll be probably a 5-minute thing or 6 minutes.
Yeah. Got to hit the gym more, try to hold
Some
the flag,
weights.
right?
Yeah.
No, but I think it's going to be exciting. I think we're all looking forward to that, and after that, of course, looking forward to getting the game started.
That's right. Sherilyn, you are
Yes.
one half of the jumbo doubles gold medalists from the last SEA Games in 2017. Unfortunately, as he just mentioned, the international doubles format and the jumbo doubles format were dropped from the SEA Games in Manila less than a month ago. How did you feel when you heard the news that you could no longer defend the gold medal?
I think all three of us were supposed to be in the jumbo events, and we're missing out on markers. I think safe to say we're all disappointed, but I wouldn't say we were that surprised because we knew the courts haven't really been built. But we were just hoping that they would pull through, and I kind of expected them to, but unfortunately they didn't. So I would say definitely disappointed that we can't go in and defend it, but it is what it is. So we just have to move forward and focus on our other events right now.
Okay, you was scheduled to partner Mao Xiu Hui again for your title defense. And were you already training and working with her, or did you have another partner as far as 2019 were concerned?
In 2017, I did partner Shi Hui back then, but right now I think she's doing her masters in Berkeley. So we had a partner switch, and I'm partnering Yhann right now. Yeah,
Okay.
so for the past 6 months, we actually have been working really well together, and we've been training very hard, and we did pretty well in all our tournaments so far.
Okay.
So yeah, but unfortunately, we can't play in this one, but maybe in future ones, we'll definitely be continue working together because we work together really well.
Nice. Well, the SEA Games organizers might have dropped the squash doubles format, but you'll still be competing in the singles as part of the women's team. Before we address that, I'd like to draw your attention to, like you said, 7 months ago when you and Yhann teamed up and competed against, I think, 3 men's pairings, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and you both won the plate final. So tell us about the experience, Sherilyn, of competing against the men in this particular SICC Marigold.
Okay, personally, I think we are both pretty used to playing men. I do play in the men's league in Singapore, in the B grade. So for singles, we do play men pretty often, and we do train with men.
Really?
Yeah, on a daily
In the
basis.
singles.
Yeah, in the singles course. Like we train the under 19 boys lah, not the older ones. Like
Yeah.
ask me to play with
Yeah.
Sam, like no, like but the younger ones are still okay.
Okay.
So we're like quite used to playing men. But for doubles, I think that gave us like a lot of confidence because we know when we go back to playing girls, the pace is a lot different. Like the men are a lot faster and fitter.
Sure.
So, but there's no pressure on us, so we enjoy it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because like when you win them, it's like yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a common tradition for the men and women to compete, even though you're a few years younger and a few years older?
I think like girls can play in men's categories, but the guys can't do the same. So for us, like if you're like in the national team for girls, we usually join the men because like just to improve our level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yhann, how did you approach this rather unique event of men versus women in the
Yeah,
jumbo doubles?
I think similar to Sherilyn, I'm also quite used to it because I myself too play in the men's league, and during trainings as well I train with the men. But I guess because when we play against men, they hit a lot harder and they run a lot faster, so it's pretty challenging for us in the sense that we have to be tactically a lot more sound, and so it really helps our game. And every Saturday we do have training, and when we train our jumbo, we actually train with men as well because there are not many women double pairs here in Singapore. So yeah, it's a good experience.
She mentioned that both of you have been working together, in anticipation of competing in the doubles. So, but you were also slated for the singles and the team matches for the SEA Games, right? So, isn't that like, your entire plate is full for?
Yeah.
So, is that normal, or to be involved in 3?
Actually, initially I was involved in all 4 events.
4.
4 events, yeah.
A mixed one. Singles, doubles,
Singles, women's jumbo doubles, mixed
doubles,
international doubles,
All
and
right.
team event.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so it was gonna be back to back, like 2 matches for almost 9 days in a row. So it was quite crazy. But I guess I knew it was gonna be mentally and physically really tiring. But I was that's why I was like training extra hard during this period of time. Like I do train like twice a day and stuff to kind of get myself prepared for this. Yeah.
Nice. Samuel, you and your former teammate Vivian Ramanan won the gold medal in the jumbo doubles at the KLC Games just 2 years ago. So what's your take on this very late decision? I mean, I know you touched on it, but do you think it's fair to all the athletes around the region that unfortunately, the organizers couldn't get the structure building ready?
I don't know if it's fair, but it's just unfortunate. I guess, like Sherilyn mentioned, we sort of saw it coming. So yeah, it's disappointing, but Vivian is still going to be coaching us at the SEA Games, so that's pretty exciting.
Okay.
Yeah.
And going back to the SICC Marigold event 6 months ago, you teamed up with Chua Man-chin and fought your way to the final, and you lost. But I think it was the victory in the semi-finals which you seem to be more concerned about and happy. Can you tell us why?
Yeah, I think we were playing the Philippines pair, and in the previous SEA Games, Vivian and I had a very close game with the Philippines pair. So to beat them this time was a good result for us. Unfortunately, the final didn't go our way, but yeah, it was my first time partnering Manchin. I think we had a good partnership going. Unfortunately, he's not based in Singapore. Yeah, so that made the partnership a bit tougher to practice. But yeah, it's a good run for us.
Okay, the Filipinos you're referring to Garcia and Polino.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yhann, tell us about your trip to Australia for 2 PSA Challenger Tour events in September.
Yeah, so it was actually a pretty good trip. Initially, I was supposed to go with another teammate, Mantong, but he had some last minute changes and he went to India instead. So I ended up going alone. But I think it was quite good because in the sense I got to, I stayed with 2 international players, one from Hong Kong and one from Thailand. And the girl from Hong Kong, she is top 50 in the world, top 55 in the world. So having to stay with these international players and to train with them, I got like a lot of experience learning different drills from them and stuff like that. So it was a really, really good experience. Yeah.
Okay. And just the day after you returned to Singapore, you went ahead to win back-to-back SG Squash circuit titles. Let's start first with, I believe it was circuit number 4 in September. And your victory over the top seed, how do you pronounce? Jamaica, Aribado of the Philippines. How significant was that that win over Jamaica?
Yeah, I think it was pretty significant because I've only beaten her once previously, which was in the C Cup event in April, and but she had like a serious ankle injury. So I guess to get this 3-1 win is a really confidence booster, in the sense that I know that my game has been improving, and also knowing that whenever we play, it's always a very close game. It's not a confirm win or confirm lose. So I guess in that sense, it's quite good. Yeah.
Okay. And then just a few weeks ago in Circuit 5, you beat Angie Uy to capture another title. How important was this win for you in the build-up towards the SEA Games?
Yeah, similarly, because after the Circuit 4 with Jamaica, like there was still a lot of things to improve on. So I've been working really closely with my coach Tim, and so I guess going into this circuit, knowing that it wasn't as tough, the draw, but wanting to put into practice what I've been training, and so being able to do that also makes me feel like a lot more certain that I'll be more prepared going into SEA Games. Yeah.
This is Coach Tim Arnold.
Tim Arnold.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sherilyn, you two competed in this Singapore Squash Circuit Series, and in the third leg in July, you advanced till the quarterfinals, and then you bowed out. You missed out on the fourth leg, but you returned in the fifth and final leg at the end of October.
Yeah.
Right?
I was playing it in my mind. Yeah.
Yeah. We're just going through the timeline. And where you reached the semi-finals of the women's singles at the end of October.
Yeah, I did.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
So, what's your take on the fact that you actually pushed all the way to the last four?
Okay, so I kind of took a year break from squash last year till this year. I was kind of like, I graduated and I was like traveling and chilling and like deciding whether I still want to play sports or just like solely focus on my work.
Sure.
And ever since I joined Deloitte, like I realized I had an opportunity to come back to squash. So I just like got back into training last June, and I think the third leg was my first tournament that I played coming back. So I struggled pretty badly. I lost to the Thai number 1, and which I won recently. So that was a good improvement right there. So just throughout, I was just trying to get back in the game and like even push my squash a level further, I guess.
Okay.
So, yeah. It's just good to see an improvement, I guess.
Yeah. I assume your current employers from Deloitte, they also gave you time off to compete in the final leg, and Deloitte, I think in general, is very supportive.
Yeah, they're super supportive, and I'm really thankful for that. They gave me time off not just for the 5th leg, but to prepare for the SEA Games, because I was to go to Pattaya for a tournament, and the jumbo doubles, when we were preparing, we went to KL. So my job scope, like the stuff I do, I can't really like keep taking on and off every week. Like I can't just go into office and like not be there for another week. So they allowed me to take a 2-month sabbatical. So right now I'm just like training and full time.
Yeah, I believe a few national netballers are also working at Deloitte.
Yeah. We have like quite a few athletes that are going to the SEA Games.
Nice. Turning to Samuel, you two traveled to Australia for 2 PSA Challenger Tour events. How did that help in your preps for the SEA Games?
Yeah, I think the PSA events are really good preparation because the level of play is much higher, and to be exposed to that kind of level with the professionals, and just not in terms of on court, but how they prepare, how they get ready for matches, I think it's a really good learning experience. So those 2 events really helped me a lot. And speaking of supportive employers, I think being in Ministry of Education, my colleagues and bosses are all very understanding as well, and that has allowed me to go for some of these events. And previously I'd never gone for any professional events, so this year starting to go for them in preparation for the SEA Games, I think it's been a good change, just to get experience overseas and see what the standard of play is like. And
when we say PSA, we are actually talking PSA stands for Professional
Squash Association.
That's the governing body, right?
Yeah.
The world governing body. Now moving back to the SG, the Singapore Squash Series, you won the 3rd leg in July, but in the 4th leg, you lost to Malaysia's Alvin Kyo in the final. Your assessment of your performance, finishing 2nd?
Yeah, so I think in the previous league where I won, I think I did well to beat Philippines number 1 Robert Garcia, who will be a main rival in the SEA Games as well.
Right.
And then subsequently, as you mentioned, I lost to Alvin. So Alvin's been around for a while. He's a very good player and different kind of style. So it's good for me to get that exposure to someone of his level. And he just recently won the Singapore Open as well. So he won't be playing in the SEA Games for Malaysia, but yeah, it's good to get exposure to these sort of players, and it's nice that like Singapore Squash is bringing events like these here so that we don't have to travel out so much.
Yeah, we saw Alvin Kyo winning it last weekend. At the Kallang Squash Centre. And you're saying he's not going. He seems to be Malaysia's.
So he's not part of the Malaysian setup, the national setup. So he's more he's doing some coaching, and he still plays on the side. But yeah, Malaysia is sending a strong team. I think their top player in the SEA Games will be a top 100 guy. So still a very strong team. And hopefully we can do well.
Okay. Now moving to the fifth leg, 3 weeks ago, you fought all the way to the semis and lost, but you settled for a third place finish. But in the semis, you lost to Alvin again, as we just spoke about. So what's the story, Samuel? You and him got this rivalry that's ongoing. He's not going to the SEA Games, so that's one less to worry about.
I can't call it a rivalry until I beat him, right? But but he's helping us actually. So the new community that came in got him in as a sparring partner. So he's been around, I think, for the past 2 or 3 weeks, hitting with some of the guys. I'm trying to hit with him as much as possible when my work schedule allows it. But it's good to have someone like him around, just to give us that different level of play that we might not get among ourselves.
Okay. Sherilyn, let's come down to the Southeast Asian Games with the very last tournament that all three of you competed in, and that is the 2019 Singapore Open. We just touched on it a few moments ago. So at this point, you already knew that the doubles event at the SEA Games had been cancelled. So what was your objective in competing in the singles and even setting up a quarter-final matchup with your teammate, Yhann?
Okay, when the draws came out and I saw like my first round match was, I think I touched on it a bit earlier, like I was playing the Thai number 1 and I lost to her in the third leg, which was a couple of months back. So when I saw the draw, like I knew I wanted to take her, because like back then I knew I could take her, but I was just not in shape or anything. So I went in, I just like wanted to get the job done first, which I did, and I won in 3 pretty comfortably, which was a confidence booster, because that shows that my training the past few months have been like has paid off.
Okay.
And and I knew I was going to play Yhann in quarterfinals. For that, I mean, like, pressures definitely wasn't on me. I just wanted to like go in and have a good game and work on stuff that I've been working on. I mean, the result, between us, ain't gonna be in Yhann. So gotta be like practical, but just go in, play good squash, and just hopefully just at least give her a fight.
Yhann, you went one step further to the semi-finals after beating Sherilyn, and you met for the third time this year your good friend Jamaica of the Philippines. How tough was that defeat in 4 sets?
I guess it always sucks to lose, but I mean, it was a pretty close match again as well. I was 2 down, and then I fought back to 1-2, and I actually had the lead 10-7 in the 4th, but I couldn't close it up, and so lost out there 3-1. But I guess during this that week itself, I had my IB exams going on as well, so I had a lot on my plate. And so I guess this tournament is more of just a gauge to see where I'm at, and I guess it's good in the sense that I lost here better than in the SEA Games, and hopefully then I'll be able to take her on and like close up the gaps.
Right. Samuel, you were involved in the men's open. Unfortunately, your campaign ended just before the quarterfinal stage. So what happened at the Singapore Open?
I had a bit of a slow start against my Korean opponent. He's part of the Korean national team, and so I was 2-love down and the match ball's down. So I just said I can't be losing this 3-0. So I fought back to 2-all and 9-all. So it's 2 points away from victory, but then unfortunately it didn't go my way. But so it wasn't the result I wanted. But as Yhann mentioned, hopefully I've used up my losses now, so the wins can come in the SEA Games. But it was a good experience. Again, playing someone from overseas and someone from Korea. The Koreans don't come here that often, but it's great, and hopefully at the SEA Games we can all do better. And I think we're looking forward to the competition. We know what we have to do and what the level is like, so it should be fun.
I think this is a strategy of Singapore's number 1, because I think he intentionally or whatever just decided not to showcase his full skills so that he's going into Manila as the underdog.
You gotta hit your quota for the losses, so it's just wins from here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Just before I get your final thoughts and hopes for the SEA Games, what plans do you have on a personal level after the games? A bit of traveling. What?
So for myself, I'm going with some of the boys to the United States, to Washington DC for the World Men's Team Championships. So it's the first time in a long while that Singapore is taking part in the event, and I think we're all really excited to go there. Not about the cold, but I think.
When is this? After the...
So it's 15th to 21st December.
Oh, so straight after
the
games in Manila. Okay.
So it pitches against a lot of the top players in the world, and it's going to be good for us to gain exposure at that level.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. Okay. So besides the trip to Washington, what about next year? I mean, it's the start of a brand new decade in about 5 weeks from now. You're planning to travel to Anfield in 2020, and your prediction as a Liverpool supporter of this weekend's clash between Crystal Palace and the Reds. The Reds are playing away.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to say 2-0 to Liverpool, of course. Yeah. And in terms of visiting Anfield, hopefully sometime in the future, probably not next year, but yeah, I would love to go for one Champions League final, and I'm sure we're going to be in a few more.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yhann, you're presently in your second year of the IB program that you just mentioned at the Singapore Sports School. What made you decide to choose this over going to Ngee Ann Poly and doing a diploma in psychology?
Yeah, so actually, Ngee Ann actually held my place for 2 years after I took time off. But then one day, like after I came back from British Junior, I got a call from sports school and offering a place they had a poly program as well. But because I wasn't so interested in that courses, so then they told me about the IB program, which honestly I didn't know of it before. And so after talking to a couple of friends who took the IB as well, and I guess it's quite a prestigious level of education, and also knowing that sports school was able to I was able to extend my studies. That's why I'm doing a 3-year extended program. Yeah, and knowing that I can still travel and focus a lot more on squash, so I decided to go to sports school instead. Yeah.
Okay, great story. I'm just coming back to, you said Ngee Ann Poly held the sport for you for 2 years.
Yeah, because I took 2 years off after O levels to train for squash full time. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. You're also under the Sports Excellence or SPECS program, and several months ago you were one of 20 students at the sports school who received the Sports Achiever Award for achieving sporting and academic excellence and also maintaining good conduct. So it's the first time squash. It's the first time squash is being recognized in this award. How did you feel about this specific accomplishment?
I mean, I guess I am actually the first and the only squash player in sports school at the moment. So
the only one.
Yeah, the only squash player in the sports school.
Okay.
And the first to join. So I guess it's quite a good achievement.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
but having said that, next year my sister will be joining me in the sports school as well, and so hopefully, if we continue to do well, more squash players will be open to joining the sports school, and there's a greater pathway for squash players.
Your sister, I think she's
12 this year. She
12
just
this year.
finished her PSLE. Yeah,
What's
getting
her
her
name?
results.
What's her name?
Yeong Yhann.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all the best for her PSLE results.
Yes.
Right. Okay. And you just mentioned that was the follow-up thing. Your name, Yeong, reminds me of a certain Singapore former national football captain in the 80s, as in Yeong Pakwan. I'm assuming there is some connection here.
Yeah, he's my uncle, my dad's older brother.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He's about, I think, 59 this year.
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah. It's on Wikipedia. Yeah. So obviously he's celebrating 60 in 2020.
Yeah.
How is Pakwan these days?
I haven't seen him in quite a while actually, because he migrated to Austria. He's living there with my cousin and my aunt and my cousins as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, Sherilyn,
Yes.
you're 25 with a full-time career at Deloitte.
Yeah, 25.
19.
19, 20, 20.
She's 25 going on 19. And you're representing your country in squash.
Yeah.
Having said that, who is your favorite all-time player in the sport?
I would say probably Nicole David. I mean, she's legendary in the sport, and she's like Malaysian, which is kind of like our neighbor. And it's good to see like Asians winning. And she like when I was young, like she was like quite petite in the circuit, and I was like really small back then. And so I really looked up to her a lot.
Yeah. Because she became a datuk, right?
Yeah.
Datuk Nicole David.
Yeah,
And
and
she's
she's
got
like
a-
super nice, friendly, down to earth,
Yeah.
humble, approachable. Yeah, so she's someone I really looked up to.
Yeah, I've had a chance to speak to her or interview her for a couple of occasions.
Oh yeah.
Like you said, very
Yeah,
very
amazing
humble.
person.
Yeah. And she's got a building named after her, the Nicole David
Yeah,
Arena,
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What plans do you have for yourself on a personal level with the start of a brand new decade, 2020?
I don't really have any major plans, but like going back to work, I just hope to like do well my job like next year and just enjoy and have fun, I guess, like before I turn 30, because I think when I turn 30 I'm probably just
That's another 5 more years.
I was cry in one corner and like, so as for now till then just enjoy and have fun, and find a balance between work and squash, I guess, and I just have to figure that path out.
Okay, nice. Samuel, let's wrap up this discussion with your hopes for the 2019 SEA Games. Which events are you competing in, and your hopes for your targets for them?
So I'll be playing in the men's singles, men's team, and mixed team events. So three events in total, yeah. So hopefully you can medal in all, and definitely going for at least one goal. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So I think I kick off with the men's singles. The singles events are first, followed by the mixed team, and then the men's and women's team. So in the singles events, I think in the past 2 SEA Games I've come in joint third, so the bronze medal. So hopefully you can do at least one better. Yeah.
In Malaysia 2 years ago, you came back with a gold.
2 goals and a bronze.
Correct.
Yeah.
So all 3 events you medaled in.
Yeah.
All 3, right? So there was 3 for 3. So now it's targeting 1 for 3.
1 goal but 3
One
medals.
goal,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm just giving it a hard time. Yeah, fellow Liverpool fan. So, Sherilyn, you'll be involved in the women's team event. What is your aim at the games?
I think personally I'll be playing at 3 in our sport, because there are like 4 of us in the team, so there's 1, 2, 3. Yhann will be playing at
Correct.
1. I just hope to be like a strong, stable 3, because I know my teammates at 1 and 2, they will have a lot tougher games. And it's safe to say like we're a lot more balanced team than some of the other countries. So I just need to like do my job, get the point at 3, so my other 2 teammates can like have less pressure when they go on court and play the stronger players. Yeah.
Yhann, I believe you're also competing in 3 events, which is the same number as Samuel's. So what would you be satisfied with results-wise at the end of the games?
Definitely same as Samuel. I hope to medal at all 3 events. This is my first time playing singles, but I really do hope to be able to get into the finals, and maybe a goal if possible.
Okay, she's being very, very humble, very down to earth. All right then, we've come to the end of this discussion with our squash athletes. But as usual, with the tradition right here on SG Sports Uncut, before they go, I believe they've all just brought a little memento of something significant that's special, that means a lot to them. So let's hear from Yhann first.
So mine's just a card from my sister. So actually this...
You hold it up towards,
Don't read the words.
Okay. We can't. We can't.
It's too far.
So actually it's just a small card from my sister. So there was one day I had to go to a primary school to give a talk, and I was like feeling really stressed out, and knowing with SEA Games, upcoming SEA Games and IB exams as well. And then in the morning when I was getting ready for school, I was quite moody, and suddenly my sister just came up to me and she was like, "Here, this for you." And then on the card, I'll read the last part. It says, "Now it's my time to encourage you. Good luck for your upcoming IB exams and SEA Games. You can do it."
Wow.
And initially, cause she's only 12, so I thought and I asked, "Mom, do you tell Yhann to write me a card?" And after she was like, "No." So it actually came from her. So it really means a lot to me. And really pushes me to train hard and do well at the games.
Nice. That's very touching. Sherilyn, Yhann.
Yes. Oh, okay.
What have you brought for us?
Oh, I just brought, this is how close is it? Yeah, this is my tag from the first time I represented Singapore when I was 14. Yeah, so it's kind of dirty and like yellow because it has been here for 11 years.
2008.
Yeah, so this was like the first tournament I ever played, or the first time I ever represented Singapore. If I'm not wrong, it was in Busan, Korea. So it's just like thinking back, it's like good to
What do
see.
you mean if you're not wrong? You can't remember where.
Yeah, it is like okay, I'm not wrong. I'm definitely not wrong. I'm right. I'm definitely right.
Okay.
So 2008 was the first time I represented Singapore. I mean, I picked up the sport when I was 13. So when I was 14, I represented in the first tournament, which was this tag, and it's just good to like see like the way my game changed over the years. And I used to be like the youngest on the team, and now I'm the oldest. Not the oldest.
No,
Come on.
you're the one of the more established players.
One of the more established,
yeah.
not the most though.
Yeah.
Fingers not pointing anywhere, but yeah. So it's just like something like it means quite a bit to me.
Nice, and you still kept it in pristine condition.
Yeah, relatively pristine.
Well done. Samuel, what have you brought for us?
Yeah, so I didn't actually bring anything because I think I thought about what to bring, and I thought like maybe I bring my first SEA Games medal, my first gold medal, but I mean those things were sort of the product of a long process, you know. Yeah, I think what really, I mean, why are you guys laughing?
Sam always has this kind of things to say.
And I think for me, like
It's the man from Princeton who's talking.
Yeah.
like those medals were great, but the process was more important, and I think the experiences, like just thinking back to how I felt like playing the decider when we were fighting for the men's goal, and those feelings and emotions, I think that's what I treasure about the sport. And that's exactly what I'm looking forward to at this SEA Games as well, the ups and downs and the roller coaster of emotion. So yeah, it's not so much the physical object.
Yeah, I
but,
think I'm gonna throw this away. I just keep the memories.
but those were definitely very
Yes,
meaningful.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All three, very
Okay.
very nicely put. Yeah, I mean, he's the first athlete in the 5 shoes to put it in that way. With yeah. So all done. Okay. We're done and dusted with this segment with our squash athletes. Thank you very much, Samuel, Yhann, Sherilyn, and we wish all of you, together with your other squash athletes as well, the very best in the campaign in Manila, and do Singapore proud as always.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for
Thank
coming
you.
aboard.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
Thanks
you,
a lot.
Raj. Thanks.